Hello, good morning to you all. It's me again, and I'm going to be taking you through another hour here at Highlight Crafts with Makeover Monday. Now, in this show, we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to be doing some castings with clay in our resin cast. We've got a whole host of mediums on the show for you. There's actually so much to look forward to on here. I'm really excited for this one, and it's going to be a show where you can sit back, relax, enjoy the show, just soak in some creativity, and maybe do something a little bit different. Now, I've got everything on the show that you need to be able to create exactly what I'm going to share with you during the hour. We've got our fabulous texture plates with us, which I love these. These are brilliant. They work so well for the techniques I'm going to be working with you. Probably one of the hardest products to share with you what they look like on a camera, but when you actually see the revealed finished articles, I think you're going to love this. So we've got texture plates, we've got texture pastes, we've got resin casts, we've got clays, we've got inks, we've got tools, we've got scrapers, brayers, we've got clay. Honestly, there's so much on this show to look forward to. You're going to enjoy it. Good morning to you, Karen, Audrey, Maureen and Riaz. Thank you so much for staying with me, says you're still here, which you are indeed. If you didn't check out your baskets for the previous hour, make sure to do so. Get those items checked out and get them into your basket and on the way to your homes. Just before I do go into everything, I've got the lovely Becky with me this morning on cameras. Good morning to you, Becky. I've also got as well the lovely Amber producing and directing the show for us today. Here she is. She says hello. She says hello. She's with us. Yeah, and we're gonna. That's it. And I'm David. So, for any of you that have not joined us here before, probably thinking, who is this guy and what's he on about? Well, here at Live Shopping at Highlight Crafts, we share with you shows every single day throughout the day, and sometimes also as well in the evening, because we do every evening other than Friday's broadcast at 6 p.m. as well. And every show is different, and we always share with you demonstrations, inspiration, education, and also great prices, great deals on items that in most cases you can't always get anywhere else, especially at the price that you see them at. Well, the way that it works is we're streaming live on social media, so on Instagram and on Facebook. And there are two social media live shopping platforms. Now, those shopping platforms are accessible for everybody, and it's really easy to shop. So all you need to do is type in the code. So for example, the graphic you see on your screen right now is shop resin. If you wanted to get hold of that black resin cast, automatically all you need to do is type shop resin into the comment section of the video underneath, and what will happen, it will automatically add that item to your basket. Now you might also be thinking, well, if I'm on Facebook or Instagram, I don't have a shopping basket, so where's it going? Well, it gets exciting because it instantly sends you a direct message in your inbox, the way you'd message family and friends. You'll receive a message from us at Highlight Craft saying you've reserved this item, it's in your basket, here's a link for you to click on and check it out. So you click on the link that we've sent you, it will automatically redirect you straight on over to the Highlight Crafts website, and when you get there, that is when you can actually check out your order. But before you do so, make sure to log into your Highlight Crafts account. Now, when you log into your Highlight Crafts account, what will happen is all the prices at checkout will come down further because you get an additional discount. You're also going to get points that build up on every single purchase that you make, which is really exciting. And that's every single time you do spend with us here at Highlight Crafts whilst logged in. And you get free postage when you spend £35 and over. So, lots to look forward to. The website, we're also streaming on live as well, so if you don't do socials, you can join us on the website, have fun, sit back, relax, enjoy us there too. Shop ahead on the website too, so products that I've not even gone to yet on the counter you can add to your basket before you've even been told about them. And we're streaming live on YouTube, so on YouTube you can sit back, relax and watch the show, whereas you can shop on all those other platforms. Right, so should we have a look and see what we've got for you today? We've got 4 separate bundles here of your texture plates, okay? Now, they're all different imagery inside here. I'm going to start with Shop Rose, okay? Now, the rose texture plates are wonderful. In each one, you're going to get 6, almost A4, they're slightly A4-ish, slightly smaller than A4, plates of texture. Now, every single one is different. You've got a floral one here, so you can see you've got wonderful floral designs on there. Oh, you actually can see it quite well. They're almost like a frosted window. Now, these you can add ink to, spritz onto, then take them and transfer them to card, and you get a wonderful finish. These are $19.99 for 6. You've then got one which is like a very swirly pattern on here as well. They're a thin plastic. They're not designed to go through your die cutting machines, though. They're not like an embossing folder. You've got a wonderful paisley pattern here as well with that wonderful deco style. You've then got your roses, so all of your rose heads inside here. You've then, see how it gets its name Rose, you've got this wonderful Baroque pattern, and then you've got a repeating very Baroque style pattern as well. Now, all 6 of those texture plates are going to come to you for just $19.99. Now these you can actually spritz onto them and then put them onto your jelly plates and peel it off, and it will leave that pattern behind. You can also with these roll them into clay, which I'm going to be doing. Peel them back off and it leaves the impression or imprint, which you can then use to let it dry. So you've got this textured surface, or you can make a casting out of it. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do. There's also many other things you can do with these. You can use them within food crafts as well. If you wanted to within cake decorating, which Stephanie did at the weekend, you could push it into icing, peel it off, dust it with your edible markers and things like that, and you've got a wonderful detailed iced finish. They would be immaculate with that process. But that's your first bundle, which is Shop Rose, okay? Great price. When we did first bring you these, they sold out. They didn't last, they absolutely flew. They sold out before we'd even finished talking about them. Your next set that we've got for you is Shop Cog, okay? Now your cogs collection, starting off with all of those wonderful little steampunk cogs for you there. So you can see you're gonna get all of those with this one. Your next one for you is a wood grain. Now, I love the wood grain pattern. This looks fabulous, spritzed with a brown ink, just laid into paper, and it picks up all that detail. Remember, you've got an emboss and a deboss side, which means you can utilize the impression or almost the side that sits within. It's entirely up to you. You've then also got this one, which is like a repeating chevron style pattern inside here, but with swirls in it. I love that. It's almost like big plaits. You've then got like a snowfall texture, almost like a hammered glass finish. You've then got the checkerboard floor, so like the checked plate. This is like that sort of metal grid flooring, but looks great for texture for steampunk. And then you've got tire treads as well. This is one of the most dimensional, thickest plates that we've got. These work really, really well. Again, with loads of different mediums and things like your Sirius and Capella paste. You can paste them on and peel them off, and then you get all of that texture inside. That there for you is Shop Cog, again $19.99. The third set I'm going to share with you has one of my favourite patterns inside this one. This one's Shop Wave, and you've got the wonderful Art Deco shells inside here. This is great. It reminds me of like the Chrysler building towards the top. You've got those patterns inside here. Again, roll them up with your favourite paints, mediums or inks. Great printmaking and impressions with them. Great for surface pattern and design. They look great when you print them onto fabrics. Also inside here as well, you've got the florals. So you've got florals and shapes inside this, really playful design. This one again, you've got lots of little tiny ditzy florals and foliage on here with little swirls. You've then got the waves. Amazing pattern and design on here. You've got all the little waves on the side there. I would usually hold a piece of card up against it, but it's actually easier to visualize them when they're transparent. More flowers, and then you've got bamboo. Now the bamboo one, it almost looks like slate roofing, but it is bamboo trunks as well, so you could use it for 2 different things. That is Shop Wave, also $19.99. We've then got a 4th set for you, which has different patterns in it, where we start off with your corrugation. So this is like corrugated wood, metal or plastic. That one there for you's got all those different indentations in. Here for you, you've got a dogtooth pattern, very, very popular with amongst fabrics, but you can create it with paints and ink. So if you're just going to glide an ink pad over here and you can use it as a giant stamp, you can do. Also for you, we've got this one, which is probably one of the most detailed out of all of them, most intricate. It's almost like a Moroccan tile that you've got there. You've got your diamond pattern here. So let me just quickly go and grab something that I made with this. I'm coming straight back to you. But this here is what I'm going to be showing you how you can create today. So this texture plate made this coaster, okay? Look at that. So that is how I used them to create these coasters. And you might be thinking, how on earth? This is made from resin cast, okay? I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. I'll probably show you a few more items on the counter, then I'll go to a demo because I think it's really interesting for you to actually understand how it all works. So that was the diamond pattern. Love that design. You've then got the crocodile skin. Look at that. See, that's your crocodile pattern on there, all the wavy wobbly indentations with the squares. You've got a tartan, so like a checkerboard tartan as well on here. And then you've got the really fine, almost like decal edge repetitive design here, which gives you like a reeded glass finish. This looks great, again, on all different surfaces. That one for you is Shop Diamond, okay, $19.99. A few of you joining as well. Let's have a little look for you. Good morning, Amanda. We've got Darren Doreen as well. Alison says, good morning, David. Emla's are on later. Can you use the clear resin you have on this morning? And what you use to paint them for cars to keep the weight down. Thank you. Yeah, I don't see why not. Absolutely, you could do. That's a great shout. But yes, you can use the resin from what I had this morning in Emily's moulds. And good morning, Charlene, Mrs. H, Amanda Connolly, Veronica, Tracy, Christine, Carol Lewis, got Wendy as well, Karen D and Andrea. Lots of you joining. Thank you so much for staying with me this morning. I really appreciate your company. It's wonderful to have you. From the actual plates themselves, which are like the showstopper of the hour, I'm going to take you through some more mediums that we've got. Now, I've got here for you an Artisan 20-piece acrylic paint set, okay? Now, this is just at a crazy price for you. It's an unbelievable offer. You get 20 rainbowed colours inside here. I love these for many different reasons. For one, they're a family-friendly paint. They're all water-based. They're great pigmentation and really good coverage. Now, you know that I absolutely love my Cadence paints, and I don't really use anything else other than Cadence when it comes to specialised painting. But when it comes to being slightly more cost-effective, but also still getting a premium product, I buy it when it's a deal. Now, these paints I actually used and said, oh, I'd like to have a go at these using my Cadence pouring medium. So I got the Cadence pouring effect and tried it with the Artisan paints, and it worked incredibly. They worked so well together. The consistency of it changed as it should, but the pigmentation wasn't lesser. So the quality still stayed up there. And Artisan are a very well-known, very world-renowned brand within stationery and craft products, more so in specialised crafts as well. And these 20 acrylics for you are shop paint at just $24.99. You can see on the back of there all the colours you get in, not just your black and white. You've got all the in-between colours to work with, 20 shades. Each bottle of this one is 60, just under 60 ml, 59.14 ml. It's a standard size bottle in there, but you're getting loads. Now you can use these with your decorative painting, so that Stephanie does. They're an acrylic paint, so if you want to make them waterproof, just give them a coat of your Aquastone varnish and you can seal them in. That gives it an encapsulated encasing. But I'd be getting them just for the fact that they're under £25 and you're going to get your club discount on top of them. And if you go for these, I'm going to pack your texture plates. You've got free postage. So entirely up to you whichever way you're going to craft today, but that is the way to shop. From our Artisan acrylic paints, I'm also going to share with you your Sirius and your Capella pastes. Now these two pastes here are incredibly thick, very dimensional, the heaviest and the most durable paste that Cadence created, and they were a new release this year. Now starting off for you with your Sirius, this is the one with the brown label around it. This is your, what I would say, thicker and rougher paste, so it gives a slightly more textured finish, almost like a stone effect, okay? You can mix it with acrylics. You could mix your Artisan acrylics, your Cadence inks, in with the paste to add a pigment to them and colour them. You can create peaks with them, stencil with them, layered stencils. These were initially launched with Mel's layering stencils, and it was incredibly busy, super popular. But they keep that dimension, they keep the height and the thickness, and that's what's most important. So that there is your series. You're getting a 250 ml bottle. It's massive. You've then got your Capella. Now your Capella is a smoother, silkier paste, okay? Now what I've actually done, whilst you're just looking at that Capella and Sirius, I'm going to grab this, because it's not quite dry yet, but hopefully it will be towards the end of the show, because I got this set just before I joined Mel for the MDF one. But this here is the Capella, and I've spread it over the top of one of our texture plates. Now what will happen is I can then, because these are easy release, I'll just peel it off, and it'll be a textured film, and then you could die cut it, you could trim it down with the scalpel or with your trimmer. But this way you can make texture elements for your card making and other crafts alike as well, and that's a wonderful technique to explore, so I would suggest that for anybody that wants to give it a go. But your Capella and Sirius pastes at a great price today. They're just $12.99 each for 250 ml, and that is Shop Capella for your Capella paste. Now, other tools that you're going to want to actually work alongside not only your pastes but your texture plates are all to come. Starting off with your brayers. Now we've got a double pack here of brayers for you. It's Shop Roll, $17.99. You've got a wooden handled one, which is a much thicker and wider brayer, heavyweight as well, which means you don't have to put much force down to the surface when working with it. The way I've been using these is that I roll out my clay, push this plate down on top of the clay, brayer it over, peel it back so it's created that impression and imprint, and then fill that with the resin cast, and it creates an exact casting of this, and then you can use it for wall hangings, coasters, decorations, motifs, that sort of thing. But you're going to get the larger one in here, and then you get your smaller one on the plastic handle. This one's great for if you've got some stamps, create an impression, whether you're going to wrap string around it to create detail. It's super cute. You just think it's the cutest thing ever. But it's fully rubber as well, so they're solid, okay? They're not sponge ones. But if you're loading up with ink, so if you've got printmaking inks and things like that, I always use a brayer with my printmaking, and that gives you a wonderful, seamless surface. So the two of these, shop roll $17.99. If you ever want to do some larger pieces of artwork as well, using your brayers is a great shout, and I love these. Even if you're working with your scan and cut mat and you want to go for a brayer that's more cost effective, you could use this when tacking your mats down with your cardstock. So definitely well worth popping into your basket. $17.99 for those, set of two. We've also got these. Now these are your texture scrapers. These are going to work perfectly with your series and your capellas. Now in here, each one of these has a different edge to them, which is fabulous. Now, I've never shared these with you on a show before, so this is a great opportunity to get hold of them. You can see each one, every single side is a different texture. They've got a hoop, a little hole inside them, so you link them all together. You can keep them all in one place on a little jump ring. You've got this one here with the larger teeth. You've got a scalloped edge, you've got indentations. You can do loads with this, okay? They're absolutely fabulous. In fact, I'll try and show you some techniques with these during the show. You've got a burnishing one here. There's ones that you could use within clay works as well for creating a wonderful smooth finishing effect. Whether you wanted to create textured panels and canvases, these are fab. Now they're $8.99 shop texture. These are probably my top pick of the show, okay? They are amazing, and also they have a flex to them, and that's really important with a beveled edge scraper. It has to have a give and a flex, because if you're going around a piece of pottery or clay work and you need to go around the surface in the area, your thumb and your fingers create that curve, and that's what gives you that smooth finish to them. They also have an incredibly fine edge as well, which gives you that finish that you're really wanting to go for. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in total for $8.99. That's not something you want to miss out on. When I did ceramics at college, one of these, you'd get them made out of metal and plastic. I always preferred the plastic ones. They were much easier to keep on top of and keep clean. One of them was a $5 on their own, and you're getting 6 for $8.99. Definitely get those in your basket. Also, a firm favourite are palette knives. Palette knives, you want quality with palette knives, you want durability, you still want a bit of flex and bounce in them, but you want different shapes for different things. This is Shop Palette. It's $14.99 for 5 classic style palette knives, all different lengths, different heights, different features. You're going to work with your paste with these, you're going to work with your different paints that you're going to ink up as well. When I was over at Cadence, I learned so many more techniques on why palette knives are so important and why they come into crafts more than we think they do. And they're actually really, really an investment. They're a tool that really do last a lifetime as well, as long as you care for them. $14.99 for these. Again, you're just going through your stencils with your glitter pastes, you know, your sparkle pastes, whether it's waxes, your capellas. You need a palette knife to be able to do the job. And the metal ones are the best. They always are. So that is Shop Palette for you at £14.99. I'm just going to quickly mention as well, we do have the inks on the show. These are the Cadence Mixed Media Shimmer Spray ink. So in each and every single one of these bottles of ink, down at the bottom there, you have got mica all built up and packed together, okay? Now this is incredibly sparky, super shimmery, but when you get them home, give them a good little swirl around like this, or rub them back and forth in here, just like that, okay? And what that does is it disperses that mica through the entirety of this ink. Now they're all water-based. They've got a spritz nozzle on them. Now you're going to inside here get all of them together. Okay, so you're getting all 16 inks for an incredible price of $54.99. It's been brought down for you. They've got a great saving on there as well. It has been brought down in price from $63.84. You've got all the full rainbow of colours in there. You can mix it with your pastes. You can mix it with your resin cast. You can use it on black card, white card. It gives a great finish, a dusting of dazzling colour to any creation. But that is Shop Bundle at $54.99. Right, There's quite a few other items on the counter, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the demo area to go and really show you how to use this, and then we'll come back and have a look at them later on and see what we've got time to squeeze in for you. But if anything, you want to make sure to get this grog clay into your basket, okay? It's 12.5 kilos, and that's what I'm going to be using within my first demo alongside the resin and the texture plates. We're going to combine it all together, okay? So, let's have a look, shall we? Now, before I go any further, I'm going to pop some gloves on. Gloves, important part, especially when you're working with clay. So get yourself just some reusable gloves. And that grog clay for you, it's $8.99 for 12.5 kilos. It's like a breeze block. 12.5 kilos, so just be careful when it comes through the front door. Keep it in the shed or something like that, airtight, all wrapped up, but just chop a little bit off and bring it into your craft room as and when you need it, okay? So we're going to have a look. I'm going to pop this plate on here because that's still wet at the moment. Lots of you as well. Oh, Karen, good morning to you. Karen says, question, David, what was the technique you used to make the pastes flexible, please? Oh, okay. So with these, the pastes are flexible as they are. So they'll dry rigid, but also have a flex to them. This one's not quite set yet. So you can see it's still, I can still make a fingerprint in it. Hopefully by the end of the show, it will be dry and I'll be able to peel it off. But they don't crack. So they do have a flex to them. You could literally peel this off and fold it in half and it won't crack. But we'll come back to that a little bit later on. And if not, I'll try and hair dry it for us. Right, okay, so I'm going to do a little reveal here for you of one I did earlier. So you take this away, and I'm going to show you how to make one of these in a minute. And you take off your resin, which leaves you with the texture underneath like this. And then you've got your clay, which you can then reuse. So your clay, you reuse this, it goes back inside the rest of the bundle, okay? You can spritz it to rehydrate it, but it's still soft, and that's been overnight, okay? But this, you can naturally take it out in an hour. It's that good. And then you wash this down, and then we're going to paint it and decorate this afterwards. But this is how we make our very own coasters from our texture plates. So what we want to do first is I'm going to get some greaseproof paper just to line my desk with, okay? There we are, just like that. That's going to sit on my desk. And we've got this just here. In fact, I'm going to pop the iPad here because I'll probably end up rolling that into the clay as well. And then I've got my clay down here. So I'm literally going to grab a handful of it, okay? Handful of clay. And always keep it nice and wrapped up and sealed inside the bag. And it's going to keep all that moisture locked in. The beauty of grog clay as well is that even if it does start to dry out, you can rehydrate it. I mean, even pottery that's dried out before it's kiln fired can be rehydrated and broken down. That's the beauty of clay because it's a natural substrate. So I'm going to put this now onto my mat like that, okay? I'm just going to dust it with a little bit of talcum powder, okay? So a tiny little bit of talc just on here. And I'm using my rolling pin, okay? And I'm going to roll this out, okay? Now this kind of stencil spray is actually empty, but I saved it because I wanted to use it as a rolling pin. So if you've not got a rolling pin, you don't need to, or you've got one for your food crafts and you don't want to then make it for, you know, your messy crafts, use something like this. A little bit of talc on there. I'm using talc, and there's a reason for this, is it doesn't actually dry out the clay. And I found a few things do, but the talc works really well for stopping stuff sticking to it, but it won't dry the clay out. So you want to roll this out. It doesn't matter a great deal about the depth of the clay, but you want it to be around about a centimetre to a centimetre and a half in thickness. You can get some layers of card either side, which if you could visualise this being a centimetre thick, had one either side. When you roll it, you know you're never going to get less than the thickness of that strip because it acts as a barrier, so you can't really squidge a piece down like that, but that doesn't matter that I've done that because we're not going to go right up to that edge. So now our clay is rolled out for us, our grog clay, we're ready for the next step. So what I'm going to do is I've got these, and these are the cookie cutters that I've made from scratch. Really easy to make. All you need for it is some acetate, okay? And what I've done is I've cut some acetate strips, so they were like this. Just a strip of acetate, okay? Construction weight is best. And then I've curled it up and used some red liner tape on there and stuck it together. I've not used hot glue or anything like that because it means I can undo them and make them into different shapes. I've made some triangles, some squares, all sorts. But these are then your cookie cutters, okay? We're then going to go and pick one of our texture plates to use. So I've got mine here. So choose wisely which design you want to work with. I'm going to use the waves though for this one because that's the one I've just revealed to you. So I want to show you the full process of that project. So I'm going to pop it just there. And then we're going to put a little bit again of our talc on here just to dust this down so it's more non-stick. And then you're going to lay it with the embossed detail facing down, okay? So we put that into the clay, hold it down in place, and then you use your brayer, okay? So you use your brayer to start to gently push this into the clay, all right? And what that's going to do is give an even flat pressure across the edge. Now, you're going to get two of these. You're going to get your larger and your smaller one. You could use your little one, but for a project of this sort of scale, I've gone with the larger brayer, okay? So this is going to lock it all into place. So now that's literally stuck in that clay. And roll it all over. And then just use your hands to gently smooth that down. I can see I've got a bit of a mound in the middle. So I'm going to add a little bit more pressure just to the centre to try and flatten that out a little bit for us. There we go. And then you want to not leave this for any longer than about 2-3 minutes sat inside the clay, because then eventually it would try and stick. And then we're going to peel it off like that. So you're going to remove that. And then you've got all of that wonderful texture locked inside the clay like that, okay? Doesn't that look wonderful? Now, if you wanted to, you could cut this up and then you've got wonderful little tiles that you've made from clay. But the resin cast sets really quickly for us and you can demold it within an hour. So it's a favoured choice to work with. Now, what you've then done once you've used your texture plate, and I use the shop Wave for that one, so that's $19.99 if you want that design along with the other 5 that come with it. That's your code to get hold of them. But I'm going to use that little cookie cutter that we've made, all right? And I'm just going to push that down into here, okay? And what that's going to do is not only allow us to tear away any excess that we've got here. We don't really need to get rid of this right now, but what you could do is tear all of that off, and then you've just got left inside here this little section. Right, so the next step of this project is resin. So we're going to put this to one side. I've then got the resin cast. Now the resin cast we have on the show, I'm using the white one for this project, and we've got it in a twin pack, okay? It's $59.98 for both of them, of your resin cast twin pack. And I'm just going to pop my scales on. I'm going to put, let's have a look, I'm going to do about a mix of 50 grams for this, so not much at all, because you get 800 grams per bag. Now it's shop twin if you want to go for both packs of the white, or we do have alternatively for you the black resin cast on the show. That's shop resin, and that's $24.99, so that one's at a great reduced price for you actually, so well worth a shout going for that. I'm just going to change my unit to grams. And I'm going to put inside here, for this coaster, which is about 8 centimetres in diameter, I want it only to probably be around about 5 millimetres thick. So I'm just going to set my scale to 0. And it's nice to do something different as well, sort of break out into a different craft for a while. So I'm going to put 50 grams in here. Tot all of that up, 46. Let's have a look. 53, so it doesn't really matter, a little bit over. I always say with this particular medium, you've got about a 10% buffer, so hey ho, we'll be fine. Then I'm going to put 15 grams of water in, okay? So back to 0, and we're going to put 15 grams in here. Let's have a look, 10, 12, 13, 14, yeah, 15. In fact, I'm going to put 16 in because I went over a little bit with my 50, didn't I? There we are. And then I'm just going to grab one of my palette knives. Let's have a look. Use this one. Metal palette knife again. We've got palette knives on the show. This is the metal one, mine are black handled, but they're brilliant. Give that a really good mix. And you want to mix it for anywhere between 30 seconds and a minute. It mixes incredibly fast. And if your paste was too thick, almost like mashed potato, you've not put enough water in there, you want it to be like double cream, okay, like heavy double cream. So mixing that thoroughly, just in here. In fact, I am actually going to put a tiny bit more water in here. And don't worry, it will still dry, it will still go off. It sets incredibly quick though, so you've got about a 5-minute working time before you want to make sure it's then poured. So, full mix through. I'm using this into a disposable cup. You could wipe this through after. Just make sure not to pour any of it down the sink, because it does set under water, okay? It's that good, but it's water-based. Right, okay, so now we've got this all ready to go. All we're going to do before we pour in is then just do another gentle dusting of our talc just inside there like that, okay? And then we're going to put us straight in with our resin cast. So all the way around, just like that, and scrape any extra from the cup into our little casting that we've made just there. Just like that, okay? Super quick, super simple, and ever so easy. Now you want to leave that to set for about an hour. to an hour and a half. Now, the longer you leave it, the better. But what I tend to do when I'm doing this, because I've got all of this clay around here that I've not tore away, I would then fold this up, okay, just like that. And either tuck it underneath the clay like this, okay, and then just put something over the top of it, all right, to keep it sealed in. Now, you might be thinking, well, surely the resin isn't going to go off then because the air can't escape. You've sealed it. It will still go off, okay? You could wrap this in 10 layers of cling film and tin foil and put it in a Tupperware. It would still go off. It doesn't actually go off with its atmosphere around surroundings. So if it's underwater, it will set. If it's exposed to heat, it will still set. If it's in a cooler zone, it will still set. It doesn't matter on its external environment. It will set either way. But the reason why we've covered it up is so that the clay doesn't dry out. So essentially, you're never actually going to be using up that clay with this process. Once you peel it back, it can still be rehydrated, mould and pushed back into the original state, okay? So your clay is reusable, but the actual resin cast is going to set. So we'll leave that then to go off. So put that to one side. I've got another one here that you can see, which is even larger. Now, I do just have a little update for you that you may all be thinking, oh my goodness, well, the team have just worked on the price for the resin cast because I just shared it with you, but there was a little bit of an error on the screen. It's actually $29.99 for the 2-pack of resin. I know, right? The bag on its own is $29.99, but for Shop Twin, you're getting not one, you're getting two, okay? So you're getting one free. So for that price of $29.99, you're actually saving 30 quid. And you're going to get your club discount on top of it as well for 2 bags of resin cast. That's 1.6 kilos of resin is going to be on its way to you. That is an immense deal. Now, this isn't just a standard resin. This is a polymer inside here. So it's got a polymer, so there's a plastic that runs through the resin cast, giving it additional strength and structure, which means it doesn't break easily. It's not brittle. Once fully cured after 24 hours, it's incredibly strong and durable, and it will have evaporated any moisture inside it. This is an amazing bundle. We before had it discounted to this price. It went back up. Now it's come back down again. So take advantage of it. That is a crazy deal for you. For Shop Twin, 2 bags of resin cast powder for $29.99. Right, okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm just going to pop my tool inside that water. And then I've got a little water pot here. Now what we're going to do is take the one that we demolded. So we took this one out just a few moments ago. I've got a sanding block here, okay, I've got a sponge with water in it. Now we're going to start off by giving it a little clean. So we take it to the water, dunk it in, and just give it a good scrub, and that's going to get any clay off the surface. Okay, so it's going to clean it up nicely for us. Okay, Amber, have you got any blue roll over there? Just realised I've not got any. So I'm going to give this a little, thank you ever so much, lovey. So I'm going to give it a good clean, so now you can see that it's nice and clean, and then you get this little edge that's built up. Now, one of the best ways to sand your resin cast is dip a sanding block in water and do a wet sand on it. It gives it a real gentle sand. So you see how I've got this lip that's pointing up just on this side there. Thank you, love. I'm then going to go around it with the wet sand and even on that edge as well, just to get rid of any imperfections, any points that we don't want. Look at that. See how it's coming off? So around here, and you want to do this within that 24 hours of setting it because it's while it's still soft. Okay. I'm also going to do around the top edge as well, just to take again away that little sort of peak, that little rim that's created there, giving that edging that we don't want that, but it's natural within the process. So we're going to sand all of that away. There we are, just like this. And then one final rinse. What we're going to then do is take it to our mat and dry it off, okay? Now you want to just keep it wet for no longer than a minute or so because it will start to absorb water, okay? So we're going to soak all of that out of it now, just like that, and then we're going to paint it, okay? But look at all of the texture that we've now got. It's wonderful. All of that texture in there with that wonderful wave pattern and design. So let's now sort of celebrate that texture and really bring all of it out. I'm just going to use some black paint for this. You can use your gesso, you could use hybrid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some black hybrid here, okay? I'm just going to take some tissue as well. That twin resin cast is incredibly popular. Already 10% of that is gone. Please don't miss out on that deal. You're getting 2 packs of resin cast powder for $29.99. There should be $29.99 each. It's buy one, get one free. Buy one, get one free for the resin cast. I know, right? Tell a friend. If you know anyone that loves working with that stuff, they need to know about it. And the price dropped literally during the show. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit of acrylic paint out onto here. Don't need much at all, so that'll do. And we're going to quickly paint our coaster. I've left my gloves on for this because I know if not, I'm going to pass paint around the entire room, and we don't want to do that. Just one of those days today. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a brush, and I'm just going to layer this up onto the design. Now at first glance it looks like you've almost eradicated or got rid of any detail, but the beauty of this resin cast is not only is it still at a porous state, so it will ever so slightly absorb moisture, which means our paint is going to be locked in. It's also going to dry quicker, but eventually it will allow us to pick out any additional texture and detail. So the one that is wrapped up, by the end of the show won't be ready to demold, but its state will have changed. And what happens is, with that white resin cast, is it puts out a slight amount of heat in the curing process. It's only very minimal, it's not hot, but it does put out heat, and that's what plaster does. It's just the actual chemical reaction and curing process. It's completely safe and it is waterproof, but if you were to go up to your moulding and it was still warm and you could feel the heat coming out of it, it's not quite ready yet. It needs to cool, okay? So it'll stay cold, warm up, and then cool down again. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that in the bin. I'm going to give it a quick blast with my heat tool. For this, I'm just using a hairdryer. I don't want to add any extreme heat to the surface of our coaster because it's still at a state where it's not 100% cured, but it's ready to craft with. So you can see now on there, that resin cast, look how wonderful that looks. And I've gone over with the hybrid, just giving it a quick dry. I'm even going to dry my mat as well, so I know that I'm not, and bless the team set up this table for me because I was on with Mel, and I'm very grateful for the bin liner and the mat. I'm just going to say that. So definitely protect your surfaces whilst you're doing a project like this. It does all clean up really easily with soap and water. It just makes a difference. Now we do actually have some of the Cadence Dora waxes on the show. I'm just going to quickly show you them because I'm going to use some in a moment. But we've got for you 2 different bundles, and there's 3 in each one. So your first one here has your black, gold and your pale inside it. This is classic, so you're going to get your classic colours inside here. The wonderful rich gold, that deep black and the pale. Now a fundamental bundle to have because I use black all the time and I use gold every day. The pale as well is great to mix with other waxes, and it's great for paper crafting as a highlight. Now the 3 of them come as a bundle, which is even better, so then you've got a saving. Now the saving on this one is amazing. It's just $26.97 for 3 of the Cadence Dora finger waxes. You've then got a set here as well, which is the Cadence Doras, and this one for you comes in the wonderful antique pink, this sort of apple green colour, and the sky blue. Now this is Shop Nature for your naturals collection. It's $26.97. So let's use some, shall we? Shall we do some crafting? Right, okay, so what happened there? I'm now going to grab that gold, which you can see I use all the time. And for this, what I'm going to do, tricky I know, you can either use your finger because it's a finger wax, or you can use a sponge. Now Cadence Cut and Use sponge is perfect for this. I'm going to cut a little piece of this off, but you can use your finger if you just want it to be delicately added. It's entirely up to you. Oh, there we go. So I'm going to take a little bit out of my finger like that, put it onto my mat, okay. And you can go straight in with your finger to use it, but picking up that sponge just gives you a little bit more control, but it's going to bring out all the detail of what we've just created with that casting. There we are. So bring this to the surface, and then I'm going to start to just gently glide over the top of here, just like that. And the Dora waxes are totally different to the finger waxes. These have the sparkle in them, so this is what gives you that really bright shimmer, which really makes a difference on your projects. Now, the wax itself will naturally air dry relatively quickly, in less than an hour, but you can still build layers upon each, so you can build them up so you get an increased depth of colour. So once you've done your first layer like that, which you can see looks gorgeous. I mean, wow, look at that. I'm going to give it a quick dry, okay, with that wax on the surface. So it's a water-based wax. And then I'm going to go back in, okay, with a little bit more of that wax just here, just around the edges, not in the centre though, and that's just going to add an extra element of sparkle. And you can combine colours together. You don't always have to use them neat or singly. In fact, I'm going to go in the middle because I want that central swirl. Didn't realise I got the swirl right in the middle there. And look at that. So we have created our very own coaster or emblem or pendant, anything at all, from those texture plates. But those texture plates aren't just for this element of creation. You can do them even on a bigger scale, okay? So what I did for my other project, and I'll show you this, and then I think it will be set. I poured this one just before I joined Mel for the MDF show. Okay, Amber, is there anything you'd like me to recap, or should I carry on? Oh yeah, let's go and quickly recap those, and we'll come back and do that project, shall we? Wonderful. Okay, so, and thank you everyone for staying with me. I don't know why, but the name of the grog clay makes me chuckle. It does me as well, grog. It sounds like it's grumpy. That's the groggy clay. So we've got our 4 texture plates. You saw I used the wave one there in that demonstration, but you've got 4 different packs here to work with. Starting off for you, we have got Shop Rose. This is your rose one, so you've got floral designs in here, very swirly patterns. This is $19.99 for 6 texture plates. As you saw, I rolled them into the clay to create that impression, but you can use them to ink up, spritz them with your inks, layer them up with your ink pads if you want to, or your acrylic paints. Use your extender on there, use them onto your jelly plates and create printmaking with them. Or if you wanted to, you could mirror spray on one side, cut them up and create windows out of them for your card fronts. You know, you could use on things like your frosting gels on these to make frosted panels to go inside your box frames, all of that. They are wonderful. I really do like these. That is Shop Rose and it's $19.99. Your second collection to have a little look at though, here for you, is Shop Cog. Okay, now Shop Cog has got your tyre tracks inside here, the thick chunky tyre track, which you could just use the central element and use it as a chevron. Wouldn't even look like a tyre. You've then got the tread plate inside here as well, your metal plate. You've got the frosty effect as well, so your frosted glass. You've then also inside here got that plait pattern. You've got the wood grain, okay, so quintessential fundamental wood, and of course the cogs themselves. Again, $19.99 for all 6 of those plates for you. Definitely want those in your stash. And then the third set that we have, these are your texture plates, but they're more of an Art Deco style. These would look great. Maybe if you're going to do a coaster like as a soap dish or something for a bathroom, they would look wonderful for that. Remember as well, you can go on these with like your acrylic paints, and if you wanted to just paint them and do like a stained glass window, you could frame it and hang it up. It would look lovely. You've got the bamboo inside there. Florals as well. That one's got little turtles on it as well. How cute is that? So you've got little turtles. Or is it a tortoise? I don't know. Turtles are the sea ones, right? Yeah, sea turtle. And then like the ones on Nemo. And then you've got the waves with the turtles. So you've got your little waves breaking there, thrashing. They look fabulous. I love those waves. And then again, you've got flowers and more flowers. Okay, so that is another set of 6 for you. Shop Wave for that one. The fourth and final set to have a little sneak peek at is this. Now it starts off with, this is Shop Diamond. You've got in here your really heavy texture inside there, which creates like a reeded glass effect. You've got like the tartan pattern, so your checkerboard pattern that you've got there. You've then got the crocodile skin, super chunky and dimensional. The diamond pattern for you there. We then have the baroque pattern and swirls, the dogtooth design, and the corrugated board as well. Wonderful. These would look great even if you just wanted to cut that in half and wrap it around a glass container with a candle inside it. You'd get a wonderful finish on the exterior of it. Shop Diamond, £19.99. Again, that resin cast though has been really, really popular, and for a very good reason. It is at half price. You're going to get a twin pack. So it's Shop Twin. It's £29.99 for a duo pack of the resin cast medium. That means you're going to be sent 1.6 kilos of water-based resin. That is an amazing price. You're getting one free, one of them completely free. You type Shop Twin into the comments, you're going to receive 2 packs. If you did alternatively they want to go for the black resin cast, that is still also on a great offer for you as well. That one's Shop Resin, and that's £24.99. Another item that was really fundamental in the process was that grog clay. You're going to get a whopping 12.5 kilo block. I mean, this is heavy. Oof. I could get a good workout doing this. I might go and do some packing in the warehouse after this. There we go. 12.5, I don't think so actually, I'd rather not. 12.5 kilo of clay there. I'll tell you who is going to be working out, the delivery man, right? So even like when you just push elements of this into the clay, already through the packaging, you can see how it creates that impression and it creates that texture for you. And that's what these plates are designed to do, to give you that relief, to give you that dimension. So should we carry on and have a little look? We've got about 10 minutes left on the show. So not a great deal of time left, but enough, I would say, to squeeze in another demonstration for you. So I'm going to get some more of the parchment or greaseproof paper or lining paper, whatever you want to call it. Don't really know what the true term is. I think it's greaseproof paper. This stuff always reminds me as a kid. And Amber and Becky, I don't know if either of you ever used to use this, but we used to have something called hammer beads when I was a kid, and I was obsessed with them. And then you'd make a design on a little tiny pegboard, and then you'd use this stuff over the top of it, and my mum would then iron it. And the smell, it like melted them all together. I loved them, and I had a million of them. I was like, right, Mum, you've got another 50 coasters here. She was like, yay! Right, so we're going to get some more clay. Okay. And I'm going to get this onto my mat. There we go. Wonderful. So a nice big ball of clay. Then to give it a little bit of a push down like that, and then flip it round and then roll from the flattened side. And then we're going to do a little bit of a dusting with our talc, okay? And then we're going to use our rolling pin, which is just here, which is my stencil spray can. Don't ever get rid of those cans, use them for something else, okay? I saw someone actually do a project where they had loads of old cans like this, and they'd finished. There was nothing left in them. Some were like stencil sprays and aerosols and adhesives, and they painted them all and did a wonderful big art piece with them, and it looked really good, and it was probably the best way of recycling ever. So what I'm going to do is roll this all together, and then we do have on the show these artificial lavender boxes. I haven't actually shown you them, but you're going to get inside here 4 of these lavender boxes. I've got mine with me just here. So 4 of these little wooden pots. They've got like a styrofoam inside to them. It's not an oasis, it's more of a styrofoam polystyrene block inside. And you've got all of these lavender sprigs sort of pushed inside. Now the shop lavender for $19.98. Now what I did was I went in and took one of them out, and you get these, and they're great for card making as embellishments, and they'd cost a little pretty penny. You'd probably pay like £3 for just one of those on its own. So when you actually tot it all up, you're getting a lot of embellishments there. Now what I then did was took 3 sprigs of it like that, and then what I did was I used a different shape. So I'm actually going to see if I can peel this one here off, because I want to reuse it. Am I going to be able to get it? I'm just going to prise that out, and I'll show you this project in a minute. There we go. So what I did was with that acetate that I used earlier, I made a larger shape and an oval, okay? So it was more of like a hanging plaque. So first we want to go in with our texture plate. So the one we're going to use for this, let's use our crocodile pattern, because I absolutely love this. A little bit of a dusting with our talc again. Texture plate goes right on the surface of the clay. Roll it in to lock it into place. All right, just like this. So once it's all locked in, you can start to really smooth it and press it down. There we go, like that. In fact, actually, I've done it the wrong way around. I'm going to take it off now. But, oh, look at that. Doesn't that look nice? All that texture that's been created. I'm going to put these on first, and then I'm going to put my texture plate on. You really can do it any way, to be honest, but I feel like this is probably the easier way. I'm going to put that lavender on, like that. So we've got the 3 sprigs. Okay. And then I'm going to get the brayer and roll them in, like that. So I'm pushing them into that clay. And I'm actually going to flatten back out that crocodile pattern that I created. There we go. So we really push those into that clay and then peel them back out like that. Look at that. So we've peeled those out. Don't they look great? I used 3 because I thought the 3 looked quite nice together. And then we go in with the texture plate. And the reason why I've done it that way around is if not, I would have flattened all of that texture as I just did when I created this. So very gently, now going with that texture plate all the way around the edges of that lavender, like that. So we've got the texture now around the lavender design. And then I use the acetate strip that we created. I'm going to push that in at an oval shape, and then we do the exact same again. We mix our resin and pour this into the top, which will then leave us with something like this. Okay, you can see it's already just falling around the edges. And that was done probably, it's going to be almost 2 hours ago now, because I did it just before the show with Mel. And then, of course, you can use this time and time again. So really easy to work with. Fill that up now with your white resin cast or your black resin cast, whichever it is you want to use. Pull it to one side. And then this should start to just peel off the top like this. And look what we've then got. We've got the lavender on top of the texture. How cute is that? I absolutely love it. So right, so let's give it a good clean. We're going to bring our water in. And what you could do whilst that was setting is do something like this. And you leave in a piece of string or a piece of chain. So these little beads, I just pushed them in as it set, and as I peeled it out, it created a little plaque like that, and it was just a little hanging piece, and I think that would look lovely, maybe on like an outdoor wall or in the garden. That's not painted yet, so I've still got that one to play with. And then with this, you're then going to sponge it clean, so you're going to get as much off there as possible. You could also use something like a stencil brush, which might help, just to get into all of that clay and get it out of there. So give it a really good brush down. So you can see I'm using that brush there. I'm just getting into all of the texture from those plates that have been created. There we are, all the way around here. And I'm just going to use my clean water just to trickle over the top to get rid of any excess like that. And again, and this is a really lovely craft. This is like going into your proper like hobbyist artisan crafts where you're doing something really unique, very bespoke, handcrafted to its fullest and finest. And then going to grab that sponge, start to go in with the sponge and give it a really good clean. There we are, look at that, and it comes up really nicely. And that's because that Krog clay is a natural product and it's very soft. It also has a high water content, so it means that the resin can still cure perfectly on top, but it doesn't interfere with the curing process, so they actually work together. And it's kind of like you're sort of cleaning this artifact that you've dug up and found. It's quite exciting because then you start to see all of the texture and all of the detail in there. And I love this part of the process, even more so than actually decorating it. I think it's really, really nice. So then I'm just going to go around here, get all of that out. Again, just clean it down with a bit more water. There we go, look at that. So you've then got this wonderful textured plate that you've created from scratch. And I'm not going to paint this one black like I did the other one. I'm just very quickly going to finish it off. So I'm just going to grab some of that tissue again and just blot it to get any of the moisture off. It does look lovely though, doesn't it? And then I'm going to go all the way around. Now you could go with a coloured wax for something like this if you wanted to. You could do some really interesting effects. I don't know if I have my black one with me actually. I thought I might have done, but I don't have it there. So I'm going to use the gold again. I'm just going to go in and highlight accents with the gold. So I'm just going to take the lid off. Here we go, and get a flat brush. We want a flat brush for this technique, and you want it to be quite a short flat brush like this, so it's got a good spring to it. If it's a really long flat brush, like I used the first one, it's too floppy, and it's going to just gently glide over and not spring about. So in with the wax like this, and then just go back and forth and start dusting. Okay, you just start dusting and cleaning like this, and that wax picks out all of the texture and detail. Now, because of the purpose of the show, I didn't spend as much time cleaning that as I would have wanted to, getting all of the clay out, but I'm actually enjoying the effect that's been created here. It does look rather nice. And then go all the way around here, and that lavender is casted perfectly. I'm really happy with that. Here we are, all the way around. I've not sanded this one back because I actually quite like the rough look to it. But this would look nice then on an MDF box, or as a hanging decorative piece, or in a frame with the name underneath of the type of plant that you've casted. You can use real plants, you don't have to use artificial, but those lavenders we do have on the show. And then you've got this wonderful casting that you've created with the texture plates and the artificial lavender all together as one. Whether you want to do coasters out of it like this, so you're creating your own little interior pieces like your coasters, or you want to do castings with your favourite embellishments. This is a wonderful craft to do. It's renewable, it's exciting, it's cost effective because of course you've got the resin at a crazy price today. And then that clay that was actually pushed into that we had there, that's the one that I peeled it back. That all goes back inside your big bag of Krog clay, and it's not even dehydrated. If it does at all you do is get a little spritz of water over the top of it, and after you've spritzed it, put it back in the bag, and it will soak all of that moisture back in, and it rehydrates it just like that. Thank you so much everyone who's joined us today for the show. I've absolutely loved it. Just going to go back over here just to quickly recap for you that resin, at the silly price that it's at, is buy one, get one free for 2 bags of the white resin cast. £29.99. Shop twin for this one. Unbelievable price that we've brought down during the show for you. It came crashing down to £29.99. Make sure to get it in your basket and get it checked out. The gesso as well was really busy on Mel's show this morning with the MDF, so if you wanted to get that, the gesso potentially could sell out at some point today, and that means we might not see it for a little while. This hasn't quite dried, but I am going to stay with it. Oh look, you might be able to see a little bit there. It does peel back off. So your series in capellas, it will peel off for you once it is fully set and you create this wonderful film of texture. Thank you so much, everybody. I have thoroughly loved doing this show with you, and thank you so much for my wonderful team, Amber and Becky. I will see you all very soon. Take care. Don't go anywhere. There's another show coming up just through that wall. You're going to love it. Take care, everyone. Bye.